Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with the weekend edition of the Cabral Concept. That is our Cabral House Calls, where we're answering our community's questions. Each and every weekend, we try to get through 12 total, 6 on Saturday and 6 on Sunday, looking into all things of the wellness, the weight loss, weight gain, anti-aging, longevity, high performance, and so much more. So this is something that I love to do. We've been doing this now for, I think, over 7 years. We've got thousands upon thousands of questions answered from the community. And the nice thing is that, a lot of the questions are very similar. So instead of waiting 12 weeks to have your question answered live, although you are welcome to write in and certainly ask that, what I would do is I would go to stephencabral.com/podcast and simply type in your keyword, whether it be Hashimoto's, rheumatoid, lupus, POTS, pandas, literally anything that you could imagine. I probably answered it. I really have. And so the nice thing is that will serve as a database, an evergreen database forever. And then I also do multiple shows. And so you'll be able to kind of get different takes on different days. And so hopefully all of this is helpful. And I always say if it is, if you know somebody that it could serve, just share it with them. That's all. All the information is free. I've learned it from being in practice now for over 20 years, but also studying all over the world and just having so many great mentors myself. And I think that that's what it's all about. It's learning and then living it, actually putting it into practice, seeing if we can improve it for the next generation. And that's what it's all about. And I know the next generation that will come after me and my colleagues will do even greater and better things for this world in terms of health. And so I look forward to seeing that. And I look forward to mentoring hopefully some of those people, and I'm sure some of those people are already there right now as IHPs. They're doing their research, they're doing their learning and implementing, and I can't wait to see what comes. So much more to come, of course, as the Cabral Concept continues to live and grow, and it is a daily show, so always do check back at stephencabral.com/podcast. All right, let's check out today's first question. It looks like it's from Jessica. Let's make sure that's correct. Yes, it is from Jessica. Today's episode 2542. If you want to follow along, head on over to stephencabral.com/2542, and you can read along with the questions. Jessica says, when I don't understand something, I turn to Dr. Cabral. Thank you for being a trusting person to learn and seek information. My question is there a correlation to a rise in cholesterol in pregnancy? I haven't seen this asked before in the Ask Cabral episodes. I recently got a lipid panel done and was completely shocked to see that my cholesterol went from 172 in April to 283 in October. I'm 26 weeks pregnant with my third baby. All right, Jessica, thank you so much for writing in. I feel like I've gotten this question before, but the funny thing is I answer questions every day on social media. I answer questions, my own topics, right, on the Cabral Concept Monday through Friday, and then I answer at least a dozen questions on the weekend. So I always feel like, I'm like, did I just answer this? But I guess I haven't, right? And so let's go over this. This is really important because I was just working with one of my high performance clients the other day. And this is a very well-known influencer. It's a very well-known podcaster. The reason you don't see success stories and testimonials all over my website is that everybody I work with is they want to remain anonymous for good reason, right? There are a lot of people who are in the health field, and I work with a lot of other doctors, and I don't need to put those names on my website. I get referrals and all sorts of great things from me helping these people, and that's great. That's what it's all about, right? So here's the thing, though. I actually shared with this individual. I don't want to give away too much information, but basically I said to them, for you, for friends, for family members, whatever it might be, you have to look at your body when pregnant, especially nursing a little bit, as a season of your life, a very different aspect to how your body operates that's very unique. I mean, think about this. A woman is able to create life inside of her body. In order to do that, she gives of herself. She literally takes her vitamins and minerals and fatty acids and proteins and turns it into another life. And so your hormones are radically different when pregnant, and that could include your cholesterol as well. Your cholesterol is, no doubt about it, a hormone. It is a precursor to your estrogen. It's a precursor to your testosterone, precursor to your progesterone, a precursor to your cortisol. So yes, it can be elevated during pregnancy. You need more cholesterol typically, and the body will produce that on its own from your liver during pregnancy. And that's because red blood cells, so think about this. Your cell volume goes up dramatically. You actually produce more blood, and all the cells need cholesterol as well. So this is not abnormal. I would, again, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis. If this was my wife and her cholesterol was elevated and it was just during pregnancy, I would say, no, there's definitely no way that my wife is going to be using any type of cholesterol-lowering drug. She's going to be eating a good, healthy nutrition plan. Make sure that you're not getting in too much fructose or polyunsaturated fatty acids or things like that. But no, a good, healthy nutrition plan, walking, exercising, if you've been doing that in the past, and keep on keeping on. And then post-pregnancy, you'll at least 6 to 12 weeks later, 6 is the very minimum, 12 weeks would be more appropriate. You can retest your levels if you choose to. And so that's how I look at it. But yes, yeah, it's a good question. Thanks, Jessica, for writing in. Thank you for the kind words as well. Brianna, excuse me. Brianna is up next. Hi, I've been listening to your podcast for months now, and I've learned so many helpful things, not only for myself, but my family as well. I'm so incredibly grateful for the work you and your team do. Thank you, Brianna. And just as a little aside, we have over 2,500 podcasts, right? 2,542 as of today's show. So that's a lot of podcasts in the past. And I just invite people. I've created categories at the top. So if you go to stephencabral.com/podcast, scroll through the images at the top, pick a category that you like and listen to all those shows, because there's a lot of shows. But the truth is, if you're ever able to go back and listen to as many shows or all the shows, it would be extremely helpful, because even the shows that you think do not apply to you in any way, shape, or form, they do. They absolutely do. They do for you or someone that you know. And it will give you a very large breadth of integrative health and functional medicine that I think that all of us really need to know. And so I just share that with you. And again, it's all free. There's nothing to purchase. Okay. So Brianna says, a little background. I'm 25 and I've had large kidney stones made up of calcium that required surgery twice in the past 6 years. And I just found out I have stones again. Yay me. This time around, I was told I have medullary sponge kidneys, which I've done some research about. And the most I can find to help prevent the stones is to lower sodium intake. I already don't eat meat or dairy. I drink 80 to 100 ounces of water a day, tend to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. Is there anything else that may be helpful? Maybe a calcium supplement? Thank you so much. All right, these are all good questions. I'm happy to help. You know, I would be careful with the thought process around, I have a very specific type of kidney shape, the, medullary sponge kidney. And I get it. It is real. It's not that it's not, but it doesn't mean that you have to continually get kidney stones over and over. Now, I don't think that you told me the exact type of kidney stone, because they can actually assess it for what type of stone it is, and I don't think they said that. But there's a few things that you want to look at. Again, I can't give you any medical advice, so this is not a medical advice or treatment plan. But you can look into, and I've talked about this on previous shows, they're called like kidney stone breaker type supplements. And I've talked about vitamins and minerals in the past that help to lower oxalate levels if it's an oxalate type of stone. So like you wouldn't want to take calcium if you weren't taking it with magnesium, right? That's really important. So a lot of people tend to get like their calcium more from food, and then they take a magnesium supplement. So it takes the calcium and it pulls it, or actually brings it to the bones, muscles, wherever it's needed, rather than filtering it through the kidneys into the blood. If you use a calcium, we recommend something like the CalMag Complete rather than just a straight calcium. You won't want to do high levels of vitamin C, but it doesn't mean you can't take some vitamin C. B6 is very, very important for oxalates as well. And then the kidney stone breaker supplements that I've talked about before. And the main ingredient typically with those is called Chanca, C-H-A-N-C-A, Piedra, and that's P-I-E-D-R-A. And other things as well. It doesn't work for everybody, but apple cider vinegar, diluted in water, about 1 tablespoon, and about 6 to 8 ounces of water twice a day with meals can be very helpful. So again, I'm not giving you medical advice, but there's a lot you can do. And so It's not that I don't recommend a low sodium diet. I think it's unnecessary for most or many people. But what I do recommend is just balancing that with potassium as well. So hopefully that's helpful because it's very different. Sodium bicarbonate is very different in how it's processed in the kidneys than sodium chloride. And it can actually be the chloride that can cause some of the issues because when sodium is bound to bicarbonate, well, again, it depends on the individual, but it could actually be beneficial for some. So a lot to look into. I don't know your case in particular. I can't give you any medical advice, but hopefully that gets you started. Thanks for writing in. All right, Heather's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Can you please tell me what you know about CADASIL? I've looked in your podcast archives and I couldn't find anything about it. Runs in my best friend's family. Her mom, aunt, and uncle all passed away from it. And now my friend started experiencing stroke-like symptoms and was admitted to the hospital where she said she had a stroke in her sleep. She's only 26. I appreciate any insight or advice you have on this. Thanks so much for all you do, Heather. Heather, thanks for writing in. Happy to help with this as well. So this is CADASIL, or CADASIL, is cerebral autosomal dominant arteriopathy. And this is not something that I have any type of expertise in whatsoever. So I just want to let you know that this is, I always let you know if I just don't have a background or expertise in it, and I don't. So unfortunately, I can't give you specifics on this, but I will tell you what I do based on any type of genetic issue, et cetera. So, and this goes for literally so first I would, of course, look into this particular issue, but I don't know enough about it just to give you an off-the-cuff remark, because again, I don't do research for these particular shows. It's just based on my 25 years of experience in the health and wellness and fitness-based field, as well as seeing well over 250,000 people. And so what I do is this. I run the Big 5 labs. And I make sure that the omega-6 to omega-3 levels is perfect, 3 to 1 or less, like always, like 100%. That helps with inflammation. Okay, now I'm looking at the heavy metals on the minerals and metals test. Then I'm looking at gut function and vitamin levels, methylation levels on the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. I'm looking at food sensitivities, and I'm looking at the stress hormones like cortisol. So like that's what I'm doing, just because remember, a healthy body can't be sick, but a sick body can then allow for the genetic expression, right, of what we have in our genetics. And so that's always how I look at every single thing in life. And again, like it's like, well, a lot of these people were doing fine at 15 years old, at 18 years old, this particular individual at 24 years old. But what happened? Well, they're starting to fill up that rain barrel, right? As the years go on, you create more deficiencies from stress and poor digestion, et cetera, and more toxicities from the outside world, as well as our own internal endogenous gut issues, et cetera. So, that's how I look at everything, and that it gives everybody their best chance for the absolute best outcome. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for writing in. All right, Stephanie's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I absolutely love your podcast, and I had a quick question. They say that fasting can be stressful for your body, especially if you're a premenopausal woman. However, I've noticed that during a longer fast, 20 to 24 hours, my nighttime HRV and deep sleep both double, which I think means that I'm recovering and not stressing my body. Do you agree, or am I looking at this the wrong way? Thanks so much for your answer. Stephanie, thanks for writing in. So a long fast can be stressful for your body. It absolutely can. However, that does not mean that there's two parts to this. So one, the first part is absolutely true, but the second is also true. So how can this be? Well, let me break it down. So the first one, if you're fasting for too long and you're in a more stressed environment, your body can produce things called glucocorticoids or cortisol. So you produce more cortisol. But that doesn't mean that everyone produces the high levels. They don't. If there's a drop in blood sugar, or you start to get really hungry, or like it's all these different factors, right, for the stress. Or like you're stressed getting the kids ready, you're doing a hard workout in the morning and you're still fasted, all those things compound. Now, I have my absolute best HRV, and I've talked about this on my sleep shows. So if you just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, you click on the sleep shows at the top, you'll see the absolute number one thing that I've ever found in myself and my clients to improve HRV at night is stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. And the evenings that I'm doing my functional medicine detox and I'm not having dinner, just my shake at 6, my HRV is the best it will ever be, like by almost double. And it's amazing, and here's why. Digestion takes an incredible amount of energy. That is a stressor on the body. Now, we need to eat food, right? It's not that we don't need to eat. So that's the thing, like these things that are stressors, in the long run, actually make our body stronger, right? Workout, oh, it's a stressor. Yeah, but it can make your body stronger as long as you don't overdo it. Sauna, stressor, okay, but it will make your body stronger. Cold plunge, if you're ready for it, right? You're not overly stressed. Okay, it can make your body stronger as long as you breathe through it. So there's all these different things. So they're actually both true. And I think that it depends on the person's constitution, their strength. But I'm telling you right now, the more easily digestible your dinner, and the further it is away from your bedtime, the better improved sleep and HRV you're going to have. Like, there's just no doubt about it. That's why all these people out there who are promoting, oh, you just need one meal a day, it can be your biggest meal right before bed. Yeah, people enjoy doing that, but it's certainly not the most healthy. And I just say, listen, you don't need to believe me. It's okay. Ayurvedic medicine's been saying this for 6,000 years. So has Tibetan medicine, so has traditional Chinese medicines. Like, they knew that you don't eat a big meal before bed. It's going to affect your sleep. And now we have all the ability, right? You wear a Whoop strap, Oura Ring, Apple Watch. I've got the Garmin Phoenix right here. These things will tell you as well. You don't need to guess anymore. It tells you, right? So really good synopsis, and you're right. So we'll put it that way. All right. Whitney's up next. Hello, I'm a 35-year-old female, and I'm having a hard time making the decision to have children or not. Fertility is likely not an issue for me, but I've yet to get a lab work to confirm. As my age is getting closer to the cutoff for childbearing, my anxiety over this continues to increase. So I wanted to freeze my eggs and stop the clock on the decision. So my question to you is it better to freeze my eggs as soon as possible because of my age, or do you think I can hold off still and improve the quality of my eggs by diet, lifestyle intervention to freeze better quality eggs in the future? And what are the thoughts on egg freezing and IVF in general? Might I be undervaluing the importance of getting pregnant naturally? I understand this is a nuanced conversation and appreciate your thoughts. Okay, yeah, so whenever we get into this conversation, there's the science part of it, and then there is the opinion part of it. And I'll do my best to try to give you both. I always tell you when it's opinion-based because you could have a different opinion than me, and that's okay, right? Like, as two different humans, we can have two different vantage points and two different opinions, and they can both be right because they're our opinion, right? And that's okay. Like, that's ours to decide. So, the thing is this, the egg quality matters, but not as, I would say, so the egg quality matters, but it's more the environment that the egg is in. So if you were trying to get pregnant naturally, I have a podcast. It's called How to Have a Happy and Healthy Pregnancy. I always mention it. I've done interviews with Melissa Ambrosini on this. I've done all sorts of, but let's just see. So I just type in Stephen Cabral, and then I'm going to type in healthy, happy pregnancy into Dr. Google. All right, so let's see what episode it is. Should pop right up because it's one of the most listened to. All right, it looks like it's episode 522. Yes, getting pregnant and having a healthy, happy pregnancy. All right, it's 20 minutes long. I recommend listening to that. That's at stephencabral.com/522. All right, because it's about the environment when conception takes place, and then after that, of course, as well. So you, ideally, 6 months before a woman gets pregnant, she's going to be doing functional medicine detox to open up liver pathways. She's going to be doing heavy metal detox. She's going to be fixing her gut bacteria, all the things that will then be conducive to a really healthy pregnancy for the mother and the child. But what actually really does matter too is sperm quality. And so it'd be, I don't know if it said you're married or not, but basically, let's say you are married, then your husband's going to work on his overall health too to improve that sperm quality. Okay, so we've got that. We've got, working on overall inflammation. If you can run the big 5 labs, you'll do that 6 months or earlier before thinking of conceiving. Okay, so there's that part to it. Now, the second part is freezing the eggs. Well, that's a personal decision. So you freeze the eggs and you'll be able to use them in the future. But then again, it's like, well, how far into the future? Because it gets progressively more difficult to get pregnant once you get into your 40s. It's not that you can. I mean, I have a client that's 45 years old that just gave birth and perfectly healthy, and so is her baby. So that's kind of like a choice. And but at that time, again, you want your body to be very, very healthy as well for in vitro fertilization, so IVF. And that's just a personal choice. There's so many people that have done IVF. I mean, if possible, if you can get pregnant naturally, then I always have to say the natural method would be preferred. But there's a lot of women that have not been able to get pregnant naturally, and I don't see anything wrong with them doing IVF if they decide to do IVF, because it's their body and it's their decision of what they'd like to do. So that's more the opinion-based side of it. And yeah, so that's that. Again, honestly, my job is not even really to have an opinion as a practitioner. My job is simply to try to help others to the best of my ability on what they're looking to achieve. And so that's how I would help you in our practice with our amazing health coaching team. And that's how it should be with any natural health-based practice. So hopefully this was helpful. That is my time for today. I see that we've ticked off 20 minutes on the meter here. I try to keep my shows to 20 minutes so you can tune in daily. So I will be back tomorrow answering more of our Cabral House calls. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the weekend.